executives, regional executives of the party. We also have in our midst esteemed members of our functional executive committee. They are all here on the podium. But I want to specially introduce our leader as a political party, the national chairman, Honorable Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. And then on this note, invite to the podium the man who will be addressing us, the Chief Executive Officer of the party, the only general in Ghana's politics. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome Honorable Johnson Essiedu Nketia.
Can you recognize me without my nose?
No, we can't.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the media. And let me welcome you to this urgent encounter at which we intend to share our thoughts on a matter of grave national importance. In the last few days, we have learned about damning allegations made against His Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Justice Kwesi Anin-Yeboah, by a prominent lawyer, Kwesi Afrifa Esquire. Incidentally, both of them are Kwesi. To the effect that his client, whose case he was conducting, had informed him that the Chief Justice demanded a bribe of $5 million United States dollars to fix the verdict of a case before the Supreme Court. The lawyer alleges that the Chief Justice demanded the replacement of he, Kwesi Afrifa, with Akuto Ampao Esquire as lawyer in the case as a precondition for ensuring victory in the case for his client. We have also taken notice of a denial by the chief in question, Nana Ojedom Abrenu Kwesiata VI, and the Chief Justice of the said allegations, and the subsequent request of the latter for investigation into the matter by the Criminal Investigation Department of the Ghana Police Service. Distinguished friends from the media, the allegations made against the Chief Justice are very grave and rock the very foundations of our judiciary, which is an indispensable and independent arm of government. Any suggestion that the head of such an institution has sought to compromise his office to undermine the integrity of judgments made by the courts warrants the most serious attention. This is because any doubts harbored over the integrity of the judiciary and its leadership has the potential to completely erode public confidence in the administration of justice in Ghana and our governance institutions as a whole. And you can guess what the results will be. Over the years, we have collectively worked hard to build a judiciary with an enviable reputation as a country. Our judiciary has produced some of the best and finest juries on the African continent, and I dare say in the world at large. Ghanaian juries have served in top positions in the judiciaries of other African countries and in many reputable international institutions. The role an effective and independent judiciary plays in attracting investment ensuring national stability and cohesion, and improvement in the general well-being of the citizenry cannot be overemphasized. As the political tradition that birthed the Fourth Republic, we are deeply concerned that if this matter is not handled with utmost transparency and the required seriousness, it could compromise public confidence in the judiciary and roll back the many gains that we have made in our forward march as a viable democratic state. In this regard, and without taking sides or commenting on the merits or otherwise of the said allegations of bribery against His Lordship the Chief Justice, we believe that an investigation by the Police Criminal Investigation Department would be woefully inadequate to assure the Ghanaian public that a thorough inquiry has been conducted into the matter. We are of the considered view that the recent history of the police CID with respect to investigations into allegations against high-ranking officials of the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government would not afford the sort of confidence that must be engendered in an investigation such as this, considering the elevated position of the person against whom these allegations have been made. We recall how corruption cases like the Australia visa fraud scandal, the Galamsey fraud scandal, the 500 missing excavators scandal, just to mention a few. And I can also add the investigation about cash for seats, monies collected to see the president by 2 deputy chiefs of staff, and so on. All ended in clear cover-ups when handled by the police CID. The magnitude and gravity of this matter call for utmost transparency and confidence building, which the CID cannot master at the moment. We in the NDC hold the view that though these allegations have a component of criminality, it is in equal measure about alleged misconduct on the part of a judge, and as such, it would ordinarily fall within the ambit of the judicial service to take steps to unravel the truth or otherwise about this matter and take disciplinary action if proven to be true. This is exactly what was done in the bribery expose of ACE investigative journalist Anas Arimeyao Anas against some judges a few years ago. And you all remember the matter started under the leadership of President John Dramani Mahama. He took the appropriate steps, and part of the punishment was delivered after handing over to Nana Akufo-Addo, who signed the dismissal letters of some of the judges. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the difficulty, however, with this is that the investigations would concern the Chief Justice, who is the subject of the bribery allegations in this matter, and in whom disciplinary authority against judicial officers is vested under Section 18 of the Judicial Service Act. The Judicial Service Act provides that the Chief Justice is vested with the authority to discipline all the judicial officers in the country. But now you have allegations being made against the person who should be the the disciplinarian. So that is a difficult situation there. Therefore, good governance dictates that the Chief Justice steps aside during the pendency of the investigations by the Judicial Service relative to the issue of alleged misconduct on this part as a Supreme Court judge. That is, if we decide to go according to that route, then it means that the person who is the disciplinarian cannot be disciplining himself. So if we want to go according to the Judicial Services Act, then the person who is the subject of the allegation must step aside so that other officials will take over during the pendency of the investigation. And if he is cleared, he returns back to post. If otherwise, then it will all come out of the investigation. As I have said, the Chief Justice cannot be a judge in his own cause, hence cannot set up a committee to investigate allegations of misconduct against himself. Also, we think that due to the considerable public interest involved in this matter, another potentially effective and transparent approach in the circumstance would be a full-blown public inquiry. This can be done by invoking Article 278 of the 1992 Constitution, under which Parliament can, by a resolution, compel the President to set up a commission of inquiry to look into the matters at hand in a transparent manner and make a faithful determination thereof. Friends, we are now confronted with a very dicey situation where it is the word of lawyer Kwesi Afrifa on the one hand against the word of the Chief Justice and the said chief, who is alleged to have paid the bribe in question, on the other hand. As I have already explained, the issue has dire consequences for the reputation of not just the judiciary or the person of the Chief Justice himself, but our revered chieftaincy institution and the country as a whole. The question is, whose account among the three should we believe as a country? Who is telling us the truth? Is it the Chief Justice and Nana Ojedom, or is it Lawyer Kwesi Afrifa? We believe that only fair and transparent investigations can establish the truth in this matter. And we hold the opinion that the transparent approach of a public inquiry is the best way to go. This approach, we believe, is in the interest of the Chief Justice and the lawyer who both stand accused, and the Chief Justice and his accuser. You know, I want to explain a little further. You see, a lawyer has made these allegations. The lawyer did not make the allegations before he himself was hauled to a disciplinary forum for some misconduct. We know corruption has ways of fighting back. It is entirely possible that it is because of this charge against him that he is fighting back. Nobody knows. And we also have chiefs in this country who engage in influence peddling. They exploit their relationships with high people and go to places dropping their names and doing things entirely behind the back of the person whose name is being used. That thing too, we do not know whether it is the case like this. And so, that is why we believe that in the interest of the country and in the interest of the Chief Justice and also in the interest of the chieftaincy institution and in the interest of the legal profession, because the lawyer too belongs to the legal profession. So, whichever way you look at this, we need a very impartial and transparent process to unravel the truth. I've said earlier on that not many people know that one of the things that investors consider before deciding to invest in the country is a very effective, impartial judiciary, because every investment involves potential litigation somewhere along the line. So before they commit their resources to a country, they look at your judiciary. And we have a judiciary which has some reputation outside. Some time ago, the Chief Justice of Gambia was a Ghanaian. Kenya was a Ghanaian. When you look at the several international tribunals, you have a Ghanaian judge playing a role there. And the millions of lawyers who had their training in Ghana. This case, if not properly determined, would affect the reputations of all these guys, including the reputation of the country. That is why we think that we should lift it above petty prejudices and pursue the interests of the country by making sure that these matters are properly investigated, and if somebody is found culpable, that person will be punished so that the image of Ghana and the image of our judiciary will be clean. When the Anas expose happened, I was here when two prominent ambassadors came and said that because NDC was in power, this is a killer expose. I say, why? Say, because they are lawyers and the expose, they are judges and the expose has happened when NDC is in power. I told them, in your country, these things happen, don't they? Say yes. So the challenge to us is not about the fact that it has happened when we are in power. The challenge to us is how we handle them. So if we are able to handle these issues properly and impartially, it will rather boost the image of our country and our government. And we will have a better score even on the corruption perception index. And I'm not surprised that we kept having those higher scores. And truly, President Mahama triggered all the, whatever it was to be triggered, the processes. And it ended in the punishment of the erring judges. And as I mentioned, the last punishment even happened when President Akufo-Addo was in power. He signed the dismissal letters. I remember he got a lot of praises from the media for doing that, even though he didn't initiate the process. So this is the first challenge to him as far as the judiciary is concerned. And everybody in the international community and in Ghana will be watching how these matters are handled and handled satisfactorily. We have looked at the route of internal investigation, and we've talked about the challenges. We have looked at the route of the president triggering some commission to look at it. If we don't feel persuaded, there is a third route we can investigate, and that is the Commission for Human Rights and Investigative Justice. Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Was that not what I said the first time? Which has an enviable reputation of looking into similar cases of alleged corruption against highly placed state and government officials, will be better placed to conduct such an inquiry. At least when you take the records of CID and CHRAG, as far as high-profile cases like this are concerned, we believe that CHRAG has performed better. We also disagree with the referral of these allegations to the General Legal Counsel's Disciplinary Committee by the Chief Justice, for the sole reason that it is an offshoot of a body chaired by the person at the center of these allegations, that is the Chief Justice. The likelihood for an impartial and balanced investigation by them into this matter will be quite minimal, so long as the Chief Justice remains at post. We therefore believe that the General Legal Counsel should stay its hands off over this matter pending the final determination of the issue by independent state organizations cloaked with requisite authority to do so. Best practice will require that the Chief Justice steps aside temporarily until the matters are looked into and a clear outcome emerges, and we believe this instance calls for such an action. Friends from the media, in making these calls, we are guided by the supreme interests of governance and the preservation of the image of critical state institutions like the judiciary and its leaders, especially the Chief Justice. No iota of doubt must remain about its integrity and credibility, and it is absolutely imperative that everything is done to guarantee this. I want to thank you very much for coming, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Johnson Sidinketia, for that short but very revealing presentation. I think the Twi stations are asking for a presentation in the Twi language, and General will be doing that. But before he does that, I want to find out if there are any questions for him, so that we quickly take the questions. He will deal with the questions and then follow that up with the Twi presentation. So if there is any question, you come to the front, you tell us your name, your media organization, and you ask your question.
Okay. Hello. My name is Eric now, and I work with TV3. During the General's presentation, he made a number of arguments and says that based on good governance, it will best serve the interests of investigations if the CJ should step aside. The question I want to ask is the NDC asking that the Chief Justice steps aside? Because we already know that ASEPA has petitioned CHRAG. CHRAG says they've notified them of acceptance to investigate these allegations. And so it's now. So
your question is, you want to know whether we are asking for the Chief Justice to step aside?
It's now the time for the Chief Justice to step aside. And then I ask again, what happens if he doesn't?
Okay, thank you very much. Your question is well noted. Any other question?
Just for quick clarity. On the stepping aside, on the General Legal Counsel, we know that they are, per the petition that we've seen, they are investigating the alleged misconduct from the lawyer Kwesi Afifa. So just for clarity, is it General Legal Counsel moving away from investigating the bribery allegation? Because we know that the bribery allegation came in when Kwesi Afifa was responding to the petitioner.
Yes.
I hope you are following. Yeah. So I want to get that clarity.
Which is repeat that again.
Whether it is the bribery. Okay, he's got it. And then finally, beyond the press conference, is the party going to officially petition Shraj or government to conduct the public?
Thank you very much. Any other? Okay, so we'll just take these two, and then when General is done with that, he will do the tree. But please, the English stations here will plead with you to keep your cameras in position. The tree presentation is equally important as the English presentation. So let's restrict the movement. General will finish very quickly so that we can wrap it up. Thank you.
Yeah, the first question was to find out whether we have heard, is it the case that you're asking whether we have heard about ASEPA's?
No, ASEPA has petitioned.
Yeah.
Asking that the Chief Justice steps aside for investigations to happen. So now that there's already a petition and Shraj says they are going to investigate, should we be seeing the Chief Justice step aside for investigations?
I think maybe if you had paid more attention to what we have said. We are saying that the judiciary is an independent institution of itself. It has its investigative wings and all that. It's like a self-contained institution, the same way as Parliament is. And so we are saying the person who is at the top is vested with the authority to discipline anybody within the judicial service. And this is a matter where allegations have been made or leveled against the authority that should exercise that. So if they decide to go doing their internal investigations, then it will be difficult for anybody to accept it when the Chief Justice is in office, and then he will constitute a committee which will report to him, and then it is a case against him and another person. So that's why we are saying good governance practice requires that if they choose to do that, then he may wish to step aside for somebody, whether there is his deputy or whatever, to take over and conduct that investigation, so that everybody will be assured that you are dealing with parties that don't have control over the process. That is what we have said. But we have given other options, one being Shraj, the other being public inquiry, and so on. If whatever route we choose, if his continuous staying in office will not compromise anything, then of course there is no point in him stepping aside. You understand? Unless you are able to prove that if Shraj is dealing with the matter, there are some pieces of evidence that may be within the judicial service which he may have control over it, and so on and so forth. That is a matter for Shraj to determine. But from the outside, if the matter is being investigated by an outside institution, and there is no indication that his continuous remaining in office can compromise the case, then it doesn't call for his stepping aside. But and the same thing goes with the public inquiry. When the public inquiry is triggered and it is happening, that commission will determine whether his continuous remaining in office will compromise the case one way or the other. It is for them to determine. But we are saying that if it is going to be an internal thing, then he is the head of the institution, and it will be difficult to have, fair hearing where one person is the boss and you are going to litigate with him at that forum. Now, the third question is the second question, very, very interesting. Because these allegations against the Chief Justice were made as a response by lawyer Afrifa to a case which has been brought against him at the General Legal Council. So this is his response. I am not a lawyer, but I believe that where a matter is being determined, and it happens that the judge who is sitting on the case had some interest, then the judge can recuse himself. You understand? Because at this stage, the counter allegations constitute the defense of lawyer Afrifa. So you can no longer deal with lawyer Afrifa's case exclusive of this one, because in that case he will have no defense, because this is his defense. And if his defense cannot be handled in that same forum, then it is my humble opinion, unlearned opinion, that this second matter has it has overtaken the first one. It must be taken up there first to clear the Chief Justice before you can come to proceed against lawyer Afrifa. And I believe that even if there is a public inquiry, the matters against Afrifa may as well be ventilated in that public inquiry, so that by the time that inquiry comes to an end, we would have known the truth about all the allegations, whatever role lawyer Afrifa has played, whatever role the chief has played, and whatever role the CJ has played. We will know who played what role and who is deserving of punishment. And by so doing, we would have cleared the allegation, and the most important thing is that we have cleared the image of the judiciary, which seems to have been tainted by these allegations. So our prime objective is to contribute our quota in making sure that we build a democracy by ensuring that our judiciary does not belabor under any doubts about their integrity and so on. So that is why we are communicating to the public through you. This last question, beyond the press conference, what will the NDC do? Is it the case that in all your training institutions, this is a question you are taught to ask? At every press conference, this question is asked. And I am always very, very serious about my answer. You see? Because we believe that you also constitute the fourth estate of the realm. And you have a very important role to play in building a democracy. So, you can carry information from the government to the governed, and vice versa. And where it is found out that those in government or those entrusted with our power on behalf of the citizens, they are not using the power properly, then you will be on the side of the citizens to fight those utilizing that mandate to make sure that they actually use the mandate in furtherance of the interests of the good people of Ghana. So individuals like us, if we find anywhere at any time that the entrusted power in the hands of the government is subject to some abuse, we have the responsibility to tell you. And you don't turn asking us what we will be doing after telling you. You understand? So I want you to own up to your responsibility also as a fourth estate of the realm. We have this information which we have brought to you. It is for you to also take it. See whether the power the citizens have entrusted in the government is being, or governance institutions generally, is being abused or is used properly. If you find out that it's being abused, then you bring pressure to bear on the people holding that power, which is being abused. And then you position yourself on the side of the citizens and fight the abusers of the citizens' power on behalf of the citizens. But if I come to tell you there is a war, soldier mine, and then you ask me, the civilian, what am I going to do? What should I tell you? You are trained to do the work. And there is war. I have told you that there is war. You have your guns. You turn out to ask me what you are going to do. It creates some problems. We will continue calling you here and reminding you that something is not going well until you go and correct and help to correct what is not going on well. Thank you very much. Yeah. Abujanfo yadamase se yafre mu putupuru nhia mu a montimi aba sentra ne se asem kase bi asi wo manum na yesusu se esese ye ne mu nyina e kambom ye kyere ya adwen ne ye kyere sentra yesusu se asem a asi no eya asem a eso ya nti esese ye twen oman ba pa bia adwene e de koso ne ye hwe se sa asem no no kora ewo mu no ebedadi de tiene se nansanta mu yete se oman no atemuo adwuma no omo afre lawyer ni bi abonu kwa du se omeyi nsembia no eno kra de nka no emetodwa pi na no yie no a ode koe no ena mo ansantropho ya mo de betu dwama ye nso ye kan bi na nsemo ewo mu ne se eye pani a oda oman atemuo adwuma na no no lawyer ni kwasi afri fase ohini bi a no ye lawyer free fa no ne lawyer ne client ohini a oye ne client a o hai no mani di na semma no omugusu a omu di asem no bi na ohini no eba ka kire ono afri fa no se eye temuafo pani Justice ani yeboa waka kire ono ohene no se opese obuno bem wo asem no mu dia obeje no adamudie a eye America dollar opepem num Enyem pimnum or pipimnum $5 million United States dollars. Na utiasa skanu suwia. Ese so sisan lawyer no. A free fa no oje ni case no free ninsa. No de kokoma lawyer Koto Ampao. Na se sa lawyer Koto Ampao no se mekai atiefo a se de be amube hu lawyer Koto Ampao no yie no. Supreme Court case ya na ekoso about abato no. Na sa lawyer Koto Ampao no na oye na Akufo-Addo President Akufo-Addo ne lawyer o di sa case no. Eno nti Chief Justice no say de afrifo e kan o. Say Chief Justice no aka kire ohen no say obeje no $5 million United States dollars. Eno pa ho a opese ye gi sa case no free or no lawyer free fa no nsam no de koma lawyer Koto Ampao. Na lawyer Koto Ampao de case na nim e de ba Supreme Court de a obumbetie ni abu no bem. Enunti asemu imbetu dwa no. Eche se yehunu se asem kese pa. Efri se yan NDC fo ye nimu se obi bia wasua amammuo ho asem no. Onim se kabima minka bi amammuo bia be koso a ne fapem kese pa ye atentrene. Efri se kabima minka bi amammuo mu no. Amanfo enam abato kwan so ede etumi ehye womo a ebu man no nsa. Na womo ebu man no nso womo nso adi nsese womo de sa tumi no ebepre timamufo no yedie. Eno nti no ebre bia akinye beba afanu intam no eye atemu adwuma no ene gina mu matimamufo no se bia sika ana eto a yedi ede ama aban a obuman se onfa nkoye bridge ana ka kwan ana bibi no se aban mu mpanimfo amfa anya atemu adwuma no ne begina ha atwe wo mo aso ede ama timamufo no. Eye tumia yede ama aban no se omfa enkuntia adibonyefo so dane sa tumi enunti ne yede prosi ahya aban nsa edi soja ahya aban nsa se aban no nam kwan bi so emma sa tumi no yedane instead se yede bepamo adibonyefo wo man no mu no yedane na yede tete timamufo no a wo monye boni bia no a eno nso court na ese egina mu na yetimi etwitwaje timamufo se obi efri amanone no opeba bi o man bi so de ni sika akwa akodi djuma bi so ode beye factory na bibibi na wanya hom faso na mabuna wo kuro no so anya djuma ya ade ba ko a wo hwe ne se oman no ehokoto te sen me koi meto amanfo asase na mehan asase mehan obi dan mefa adwumayefo se kokoba se akinye bia ba ye ne sankofo ebi no ntam ne de kokogina koto a atemuo no etisen ye betimi abu ntentrene se me ame hoho na me de eda ye betimi abu amame ana obi timi de adamude ekokoma jeje bi manibu etiame ema obi kura age me factory na misika me de akokuro no so akoye obi de na maboka na wo mo hwe sa ne ma nansa na wo mo diskaba enu nti yeti se adamude ho asem yakopaja yedi ebe fore opani a oda Ghana atemu nyina djuma no ano no ye ho dwiri ye efri se jajefo enkuma no bi de ebi asipen President Mahama Breso Anas ekoye nhwehwemu bi de betu dwa ehunu se jeje binom agye adamudie bi agye dwan bi agye aponche bi agye sika bayire nom ne ade ema sabre no na chief justice ya ote ho no asembia ni ne honti no otimi fa amra kwan so eme hwehwe adenum fikɔ ema ono ne mampani owo ho sabre no ye de mra no ye adwuma ema judge fo me ne okasai judge fo no bebra asem no fa wo ho no ye yi wo mo adi ma wo mo kofie na we no de ama aye den ne se atemuafo pani no a anka ekotia akwala bia ana atemuafo nkuma no bia ono ne begina ho na watwe aba no na ye de abosa nipa no ono na ye de asemu yi abeya ne komu na ye gya no ho saa so se enka ho saa eche se edi efi abeka Ghana ya temu adwuma no nyina na wo ka bi maminka bi amamuo mu na efi bi beka atemu adwuma no a ade a eha oman no ekwan bebre so efri se de menemo akasai oman yatemu adwuma no ya bre ho kakra ana abedu sam pempenso yi megidi se yentimi nka se ye perfect de ba wo de etoto aman no bebre ho a yakoyanim Ghana yatreni atemuafo ama aman no bi kura befa bi ma okoye chief justice wo ho ma hunu se na Ghana ni na no ye chief justice wo Gambia ena Kenya so Ghana ni akoye adwuma wo ho International Criminal Court no ne manema bebre Ghana fo atemuafo no bi anya kwanya akoye adwuma wo ho enti yatemu adwuma no ni dia eda amano ne so efe enunti so obi di nka eba beka no na se oman no nyina nsori anhwe se no krojen ebedadi na de waye bone no ya twe na so a edi how bebre eni di money bebre ebe for sa ankofo na ebi American obi te international panel bi so a oyejeja ofri Ghana na ni nua bi ka kire nse wo kuro mu de ekoso ni a enunum nyina ye wo ha nketenkete aye de ba enti ya ndie ya ni abre se ye nimu sa ni pa miensa na asem no fa wo mo ho no de o ka no kure enti esese ye hwe se oman no besori ni ape kwan papa bi a ebe ma nokure na daadi na atimi ama yatemu adwuma no ehwo aye son ye kan de nti aye ka se ye ntimi hu ba bia nokure no da ne se lawyer Kwasi Afrifai se ye ti oman mu o meka ahwe nkire ye kosi se ono ye saman no wo General Legal Council edi kwadu bi abono enti kwadu ne edi abono a ono yi na no a we nmu abedede ye ni mo man mu se eye possible se obi wo ho de ye frɛ no se omra atemu adwuma bi a obeka se obetimi aka se menkwa mekode ne owuo de dom beko ye nyina enti bia obi a onye bone kura etimi de bone kofore no eye possible ena oman mu so se wo ko atia kete asehye ne proya no ne kete asehye no timi sori ekotia ebi na dom levo aya akotena fi enunti obi bia oko atia kete asehye bia no there's a possibility say kete asehye no ne proya no so etimi sori ekotia no enti se ebia asemu a yede ayan Afrifai ne komu ene ono so pese odi obi kobia yentimi hu yete ayentimi hu nokure wom ebiemu nso ye nana ohene bi nso yabo ne din wom oman so eye ahinie no ya mamre institution ba kwa Ghana fo nyina gidi obia Ghana ni bia wo hene a osom no enti yesi na samunyo kobo ne hene amane a one no timi kasa aye nyina ye ogidie wo ye nkonwa asem enu nti yensu yesusu se ye hemfo no uyi honhom free ho anyame no free ho a omo nso na wo ho enu nti yen expect se ye hemfo no bi ebetimi de ne ho akodi saa de mu se ba se obi de ne ho akodi mu saa no a meji di se nananomo ehemfo asye no wo mo so betimi ahwe ahunu se bibi boni bia bedi wo mo ekuo no mu a ase etimi eno so ye no free ho na ye ma chieftaincy institution no eno nso anim ebanyam na minim se oman mu nipa bebre nka nso pesem ka ho kakra bi ehemfo no bi wo ho a so nim pani bi political figure bi judge pani bi ni ade a nimu a wonim no otimi fa ho edisa nipa no din etimi ye niema bebre edidi ho wa bra nipa no a na danfo no ono onim kura etimi si enunti ye nam hoi omo de bi ye da bia sauti ase empanimfo ati hoi bebre wo ho a ubeti ne de ne din asi Facebook faudin bra na utua sei ewo momo a mefo o adwumam ne ade onim ho hwe enso ne de ne din ye wa aban mu a obi timi kọ ye be pointi DC fo na ye se ye se na ye kohu ase edun kete na ofusu ampofo a obetimi aya am wanya udisi no bebre timi di edin sa ejeje amanfo sikadi abi ayen nim ho hwe eno nti eno nso ye possibility enti nya se obi abue na no aka asem no a na wasori agina ona kwano no onya obeye na odi akire enti yan de asem ya asi yenye ya dwen se ye beta obi achi no kura ne yepese yehu na nipa bonefo a owo mu no sa nipa miensa no de tie bia obi aye bone se wo mo miensa na aye bone o se ba ko na aye bone o mienu na aye bone o ebe da di maga na fo nyina hunu na ye nam sayo so atimi akra ya temu adwuma no ne din efise ne din so enti de enti a ye frɛ sansa ntrofo se ye ne mo ni ho kita ho no ne ya kyerɛkyerɛ akwan bebree ba ko se de meka no se wo mo ye se atemu adwuma na akɔye ti se de parliament a wo mo nhyehyɛ obi ye bɔne ade de twena so ne ade wo ho na nhyehyɛ no nyinaa no chief justice ne da no enti se kokoba se lawyer bi any chief justice anya asem a ono chief justice no owo mu bia o ka se chief justice no ono nkotena ho nya nhyehyɛ se atentreni enya nhwehwemu na atentreni mfiri mu mra ebe nipa bitirimu na enunti se kokoba se on pese o mu use internal processes of the judiciary ede na ebehia se panino obetra nchen na abadi akire bi aye saa nhyehyɛ no ne de ahwehwehwehwɛ asɛm no mu ne ahunu se one lawyer no ne ohene no omo asɛm no ehemfa na akwakosi eno ebetimi akoso ba eno bekoso de a ense se pani no tra na konwa so na obetwe ne ho a enye punishment o twe ne ho se owo akwanya bia se obetimi influence process na bibia o twe ne ho atena ba bi ono ebeboa ono ankasa na ni monyam na wo mu ye wi a de besi bia no na ehu de obe se ye hwe na se judiciary no mu ye ntimi nye saa nhwehwemu no de a ye wo akwanya wo oman no constitution mu article 278 a se bibi ba sei na etia atemuafo bia parliament etimi transe pass resolution de ohye ema mampani otia konwa so se ompe baason ku bi na omo nhwehwe asem a abano na omo hwehwe mu a de tie bia no na omo de homu aye aba betudwa enti se empese ebeye internal inquiry bi wo ho na epese emu da ho fa yenso yesusu se ebasa ebeboa ye papa ani ye boa no ebeboa oman Ghana ebeboa ohene no na ebeboa lawyer free fa no na oman no nyina ye de ani adi akire de ne de nya de no ye nyina ye behu de ono nso ne tri so no ebema ono so nanim onyam akonanim se oye nokwafo eno nti yende yensusu ene se anka parliament any president ombetimi atu sana mo no na eba se ye hwehwe mu a Ghana ni bia ni wo mo anye Ghana fo wa brochire investors ni ade nyina wo mo di wo mo ani ebedi akire te se Jacob Zuma de ya eba ye obi aye yete Ghana hakura ya ni di akire ye hwe se de kwa akosi ba bia kwa akosi se no so anye yi a shragi so wo ho na yate se chief justice no wa dane asem no wa reporto e de ama CID o mai mu de obi a wo ne right se bibi ha no a otime reporto no ba bia ope enti ene no ni asem se wa reporto ni case ama CID na mom CID for de na ewo mu no ye hunu se kakra bi nsemo akasi a ewo akire a esese o man no nya ho answers no CID for ntimi nya sa adwuma ena CID for so o hwe o mo record na nsan yi a se enhye da nye de papa se ba se wo mo hwehwe asemo a efa okunini bi ho a de tie bia no de ewie no ya na enye papa na akoye se kataso mamuaso na o ma akoye bibia nsi yenkoye fu eti oman mu Australia visa fraud Dubai e de masi e di fo ewo mu a na ebeka se obi anye boni enhu hwe obi so aye boni wo Australia ho ama ya boni pa aba enti nipa no nye boni na hwan na aye boni ene Australia ban so na esisi ya ne no so nkotwe obi anye boni obi akoye na dwuma eno free ho ene ete se chief of staff na badi akire fo mienu obi asori allegation say uko president ya utua $50 $10,000 hey and then come ma ye fo ama masai buono masai price no kra enti jese utua sa sika no eno so na ye asem kase Ghana fo nyina de ani de akira CID ya de koma wo mo nipa onu de akire eko gina ho se me na mahu me be kan se me be se no Achire tape eba ne se CID pani no kura ase o sere nipa no a de case no o de case na akọ no se yenya na Akufo-Addo na mamuo nkoso na yenkata kata ne maso eho asem bepue ene se yete hai ene saa nkofo mienu nyina ye ministers meboa yes ene o mienu nyina ye minister udi bone ane a promote enti ana excavators so be yiraye eno nso ye CCID fo nkohwem omo so ko ene si ejina hai afedie aban no a be ka se echichi excavators na chire yenhu ba bia wo de a afedie ye kohye yehu a ye be hye excavator no se wanka se waje atum se wo wa ba be fa excavators wo ya aban no na wa ba be jeje achire wo nhu ba bia faaye enso wontwe obi aso o so de hye obi nsa wantwe obi aso enti ene ye hye excavator no eno na solution ena omuguso a wo mo hye koyi a hye no a ye hye no kura ye hwe woni mansa na hye wo de wani mi ye wo so no a ye hye wo de ya kusi a ne hye ena eno nso aba bedru sei enti ebetime abobọ niema bebre so a eye si edifoi se case no ye high profile case bia echese o de kọ ho a na o de kọ se yen kata so yen kele case no enu nti esusu se papa no a report to the police mrakwan so but enim said the issues so I involved no the beboa o man no pa ni public inquiry no ebeboa o no ankasa nso na boa ohene no asan boa afrifa no na de aba no betobia ne de abono ne ahwe no korewum na yenso ya paja ya democracy no akọ one step ahead edamu nyina ase nyame nshira o my Ghana.
Thank you very much, General. Thank you, Chairman, for your time. Thank you to all our friends from the media who honored our invitation and all the stations who streamed this press conference live. We have had copies of the statement General read for you, and the soft copy has already been released out there, so I believe you'll get copies. We'll see you before you leave. Until we meet again, all we will say is thank you. All right.